So welcome back to Coaching Mondays. In today's video is going to be the beginning of a self-care series. And in this video, we're going to be discussing what does self-care mean, what does self-care look like, and why self-care is important. So as I mentioned before in my last video, that I wanted you guys to purchase Dr. Michael Greger's book, How Not to Die. And if you didn't get to read up to chapter 12, skip over to chapter 12 before you began this video, because in chapter 12, he discusses how not to die from suicidal depression. Depression is a thing that affects many of us. And in the chapter, he discussed depression can lead to suicide. So in that, he discusses foods that can help you change your mood, because food can change your mood. I'm not going to go into detail about that because that's another video. But today I wanted to start the self-care 101. So make sure that you're in a comfortable, cozy place where you're not going to get disturbed. Then get yourself a notebook and a pen. It's better for you to write it than type it, because studies have shown that writing by hand may improve learning and memory. So get yourself a pen and a notebook. Here I have my 5-subject notebook, where I keep a lot of information of things that I've learned and things that I want to share with you guys. So let's begin. What does self-care mean? It can mean different things to different people. But let's look at what we find online. And online, when you Google, what does self-care mean? What does self-care mean? So when you Google self-care, it reads, self-care has been defined as the process of establishing behaviors to ensure holistic well-being of oneself, to promote health and actively manage illness when it occurs. Individuals engage in some form of self-care daily with food choices, exercise, sleep, and hygiene. And this is from Wikipedia. So there it is. That's the definition. What does it mean, right? So we know that it's just basically taking care of ourselves through food choices, exercise, sleeping, and hygiene, right? So in self-care, mental health is a component that should be included in this Wikipedia definition. Because if you don't have your mental health correct, then it's not going to function, anything that you try to do. To take care of yourself holistically, from mind, body, and soul. Okay? And the next question that we're going to discuss today is, what does self-care look like? Again, self-care can look different for everyone, right? It could include products that people prefer to purchase. It could include extravagant vacations. It all depends on what you find for your mental health. So for my mental health, I need to sometimes take time for myself. That's how I maintain my mental health, is going to yoga and taking solo vacations. So then we go into, what did Wikipedia say? Wikipedia said your daily food choices. So that is something that I've been doing my best to do. If you haven't been following me, I have lost 21 pounds since I created my SMART goal. So my SMART goal helped me to maintain my goal of trying to lose weight by a certain date. That is how I try to maintain my self-care, is taking care of my mental health by traveling and doing hot yoga. Food, I make sure that I'm eating what I need to for my body and for my diet, because I'm a vegan, and I'm doing a great job because I've lost 21 pounds and I'm stronger. Let's go on to the next one, exercise. So I exercise about 4 to 5 times a week. I try to push in 6, but I prefer to rest on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. So I work out 5 times a week. I do yoga twice a week, 90-minute hot yoga, and then I work out the other 3. I do calisthenics. I was doing calisthenics with the Calisthenics Kings, or I do it at home, and just random exercises that I find on YouTube. When I go back to work, I'll be going back to the gym, because the gym is across the street from my job. So I'll just go right after work and go to the gym, because then I can use the weights. Okay, moving on to sleep. You want to make sure, I'm looking over to the left a lot because I have this view of the city, Atlantic City. I'm on the 43rd floor of Borgata, and I'm overlooking the city. So this is peaceful for me, calming. I prefer to see the ocean, and that's why I'll link that video below. But this is helping me to relax, that when I get back home, I'm 100%, right? Let's go back to sleep. So sleeping, you want to make sure that you get enough sleep. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, you're not getting the accurate amount of sleep if you're waking up to use the restroom. And that is something that's happening to me more recently because I've been drinking a lot of water. So I have to stop drinking water a few hours before I go to sleep. And I notice that I do sleep through the night. Figure out what's bothering your body and not allowing you to go into that deep sleep, because that sleep is what you need to recuperate. If you eat well, you exercise, but you don't get enough sleep, you can still get sick. Keep that in mind. So now let's just recap on what we discussed. What is self-care? So self-care is taking care of ourselves, the proper food choices, exercise, sleep, and hygiene. And I suggested that mental health is also part of self-care. And what does self-care look like? It can look different to you. Comment down below and let us know what self-care means to you. So let's move on to our next and last topic in this first series, is why self-care is important. So why is self-care important? Comment down below and tell me why you think. Because self-care is something that you have to do for yourself, right? Because if you can't take care of yourself, if you're not mentally awake, morally straight, in good physical condition, in good health, sleeping well, if you're not there, if you're not 100%, then you can't function. You can't take care of yourself. You can't take care of anything else that has to do in life, whether that be to go to work, to pay the bills, to take care of children, to take care of your family, husbands and wives. Whatever your responsibilities are, you're not going to be able to do that if you can't take care of you. I always say self-care is not selfish. It's self-help and self-love. That's what self-care is. And a lot of people rather put their family first before themselves, especially moms. Moms do that a lot, where we're putting our kids before ourselves. And we have to learn to step back, take care of ourselves, and then go to our children, because if we're not doing well, they're not going to do well. So that is why it's important, right? So I have some notes here. Self-care is also important to recharge, right? You got to recharge your battery. You charge your phone every day. You make sure to charge your cell phone before you go to bed, in the morning, before you leave the house, because you know how important this is, your connection to the world. But how about this? You have to recharge yourself, right? It manages stress, which it does. Like what I mentioned, for my mental health, I go to hot yoga, and that helps to manage my stress. We're always stressed. There's always something going on in our lives, and we have to find a way to manage the stress, right? It increases your happiness, which it does, because I was extremely depressed, especially after my father passed away. I was just spiraling. But finding what helped me, I'm much happier now. It reduces risk of illnesses, right? So this is stuff that I Googled and I found, and also some articles that I've read. So I'm just giving you the main points of why is it important, right? To reduce risk of illness and to reduce depression, right? Reduce anxiety and depression. That's what self-care will do. So let's recap on what we discussed. What does self-care mean? Self-care means that we're taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, while we sleep, how we exercise. What does self-care look like? That all depends on what you find peaceful, whatever you think is peaceful for you. I discussed things that I do. Comment down below and let us know what helps you. Maybe something that you do, someone else might use that suggestion to help themselves. And why is self-care important? We mentioned to recharge our battery, right? To manage stress, to increase your happiness, to reduce the risk of illness, and to reduce anxiety and depression, right? Amongst a list of other things on why self-care is so important and why you need to add it into your daily lifestyle. So you just have to find what helps you. So stay tuned for my next video. We're going to discuss the first component of self-care, and there are 7 to 8 components of self-care. And these are components that I go through with my clients. I don't take on a lot of clients because they're not mentally ready. And no matter what type of exercise regimen program that you want to purchase, it's not going to work if you're not mentally ready. What we're going to discuss are some components that I discuss with my clients, and I'm giving it to you all for free. It's going to be a quick summary. I'm not going to go into so much detail on what I do with my clients, but it's just a quick summary on an idea of what you should be thinking of to begin the process of healing, right? You can't transform yourself if you are not mentally ready. Stay tuned for next week's video, and we're going to begin the components of self-care. And I'm glad that you guys are here with me. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And always remember, sweeties, be real, not perfect. Bye.